Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey. Man, I put menopause as the topic, and there you all are.
Keeping it real, Diana. Keeping it real.
It's so true. I could talk about it. Like, everybody's chiming in here. Woo, hey. Good. Yes, it's a hot topic. No pun intended. I'm so funny today, aren't I? Oh my goodness. Let's see who else is here. Gina is here. Gina, Karen, Kathy, Hillary, Jody, Heidi. All right. Pam won't be on. She is snowmobiling. Good for her.
Oh.
I mean, you all have actual snow somewhere?
Yes, there is snow. Well, we have a little bit, but she's in the UP of Michigan.
Okay.
And they have a lot.
Because we had a storm come through last night.
Okay.
We got rain.
Oh, really?
And then further north got snow. And I'm like, I want snow.
Really?
Not rain.
And where are you? Where are you again?
Delaware.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm in Western New York, south of Buffalo.
Hey, that's where my son is. My son lives in Buffalo.
Lots of snow in Buffalo, always.
It's been awful today. I shoveled.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
wow.
much you got?
Well, Gina, what's it like in Alabama?
Oh, it's about 30-ish, between 20 and 30 degrees, but
Oh,
we had some rain and snow the other day, but it melted before it hit the ground.
yes.
Nothing.
That's not supposed to happen there, is it?
Not really, not too much. I mean, in some of the areas, but not mine.
Yeah, funny.
But
Well,
my daughter has over a foot of snow in New York.
yes, they do.
Social
Yep.
items
Jody's
out there.
like, yep. I know Minnesota got it. Yeah, so we don't have much. We maybe have, I don't know, 2-3 inches, but that's where my Milwaukee, the northern part, has a lot more. But
Well, she lives right off Lake Ontario.
right. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. You
Lake
get
of
blood.
everything.
It's crazy. All right. I'm just looking to see if anybody else is joining in. So I wanted to and I know I've talked about this before, and you guys have probably heard about menopause and weight loss and why is it so difficult to lose weight during that time. So I wanted to just reiterate a few things. And I think the more we talk about it and understand it, it makes sense. And then we can do things to lose weight, eat better, all that kind of thing, because we're going to understand why women think menopause is the cause of weight gain when and it really isn't. This is my opinion. I've read a lot of interesting articles on it, and anytime you search Google and you search, does menopause cause weight gain, you're going to find a lot of yes, it does. But when you really dig into the research, it does. There's different things that happen to our body that can lead to weight gain and shifting, but we also can combat that at the same time. So not using it as an excuse to not do anything about it. Does that make sense? Like there are things that we can do, right? So sometimes it can come suddenly, like you all of a sudden, like you're like, where did this come from? And what happens during menopause is, you have a shift in your fat cells. So it tends to shift into those areas like the belly and the hip area, that kind of thing. And you guys have all experienced that. And I have too. And so how do you combat that and slow that process down? And so if we understand what's going on in our bodies, it makes some sense. So, and obviously, the need to lose that weight haunts a lot of women and men too. Men don't go through menopause, but they do lose their hormones as well. they don't have a lot of the brain fog and some of the other symptoms that we do, the hot flashes and things like that, because they don't have the high estrogen or the higher progesterone. They have higher testosterone. But like I said, when we hit menopause, that weight gain is around the hips and the waist. And sometimes despite your efforts of trying to diet, and I don't like that word, but that's a 4-letter word that when we say diet, it kind of has a negative connotation to it. So I'm just using in the sense that as most women and men will diet and then they start an exercise program. And what we need to understand is that the way that the weight shifts or the body fat shifts is due to the hormones, right? And it's all linked to hormones. So most women, except for you guys, because you're working with me, follow a low fat, high carbohydrate diet, lots of processed foods, lots of fast foods, because it's convenient. We're busy. It's easy to do, right? All processed everything and drive through McDonald's and drive through Chick-fil-A. And before we know it, we are gaining weight. And so that's what happens. And so what happens when you eat those foods is it makes you resistant to insulin. Okay. And so that's where the body is converting calories into fat, even though you're dieting. You might be watching your calories, but you're doing the processed foods and the convenience foods and not the whole foods, things like that. And so what happens then, it feels like a little bit of a losing battle because you haven't learned how to eat well and how to eat differently, I should say, more for what your body needs always, but especially this time in our life, and that we can change that. So, and then when you get stressed about the fact that you're not losing weight, that increases the hormone cortisol, which then leads to more weight gain. And then you're not sleeping well. And that's the whole same process. And so even though you are eating enough calories, the body still acts as if you're starving, and it holds on to those spare calories as fat. Okay. So that's the processed food that has all kinds of stuff in it that causes inflammation and causes bloating and all of that. And so it just kind of feels like a no-win situation, and that can lead to adrenal fatigue. And once you have adrenal fatigue, it's really hard to not go, now I got to, it's like hard to pivot and get that metabolism up and really understand how that works. And so that's one of the reasons why I built Mind Body Beautiful, is so I could help women understand that to not use that as an excuse, but because you have a choice to do something different. And yeah, it doesn't happen overnight, but as you guys know, if you're consistent with what you're learning, it does work. And when you see 5-10 pounds start to drop off, that's, you get motivated that way. So, so when you're combining that high stress life and the low fat, high carb diet, all those kinds of things, and that hormonal imbalance, you will gain weight, right? That makes sense. Plus, as we get a little bit older, we're not chasing and running after little kids anymore, and we're not, maybe as active as we once were because we're getting a little older. We're more tired. It takes us longer to recover. And so, that just all precipitates, and men go through that too. And so that in the past, when you did the yo-yo dieting thing, that will just exacerbate the problem. That adrenal fatigue just kicks in, and then you just feel stuck. And when you feel stuck and you don't know how to get out, the cycle will just keep continuing. And so when you're eating the processed foods and those kinds of things, which most women do, and, we have to, and we might do that once in a while, which is not a bad thing. What happens when you're doing that is that craving for sweets just keeps going. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods and not the whole foods and meal prepping and all that, that's what happens. And you can't maintain that optimal blood sugar. And then you start to, you snack more often, you're drinking more caffeine because you want to start to feel better. So the sugar makes you feel better. The caffeine makes you feel better, all of that. So that insulin resistance gets worse and worse. And then that vicious cycle accelerates. And so now that you know that process and understand that, and I'll just here, let me get to it. So, and I've talked about this before, but it's always good. You drop that estrogen. And so that adds to that whole cascade, right? And as the estrogen decreases, the body needs extra fat stores. So it's going to hang on to that. So how do you control that? Lots of other factors play in if you have digestive issues, you know, or, and a lot of women do suffer from that because they're not eating very well. But if you have Crohn's or any of those kinds of things, that can play into that. Or if you just have a lot of stress going on in your life and a lot of emotional things going on, that doesn't help either. So what can we do, right? So your estrogen, your progesterone, all of these changes are happening. So what can we do? And you guys all know this. The important step is to, you know, and I quote unquote, get healthy. Well, what does that mean? And so when I talk to each of you about, so what are your goals? What's your why? Why do you want to do this program? And a lot of you said, I want to get healthy. Now, healthy is different, might be different to Kathy than it is to Jody, than it is to Hillary. What does healthy mean? Because some people are on medications for blood pressure and cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. Some people have a family history of diabetes and heart disease, and they don't want that to happen. So there's all those different get healthy means. But to me, to change the cycle, to pivot, and you guys all know this because you're doing this, but you need to eat protein. And I'm the protein queen at every meal. At just about every meal, you have to get the protein in. Your carbs need to be not super high carbs, not super low, but what is perfect for you and your body and your activity level. But the carbs should be the healthy, low glycemic carbs, the sweet potatoes, the quinoa, the jasmine rice, all those things that you guys know about. Very little to no processed foods. So protein bars are processed foods. So like one of those a day, I think is perfectly fine, because sometimes you just need to get that protein in. I'd rather have you do that. But I don't want you eating 2 and 3 and 4 protein bars. It's just kind of defeating the purpose. And so protein bars that I recommend are the RX bar. It's RX and BAR. They come in different flavors, but they're made with 3 or 4 ingredients, and it's all real food. Like it's real food. The other one is the Lara bar, or the Lara bar, however you want to say it, LARA. Those are the ones that when I talk to dietitians, those are the ones that they recommend that are really good for you and don't have a lot of the processing, the enrichments and the added sugars and all that kind of stuff. But also lots of fruits and vegetables. And I know there's people out there that say, oh, don't eat fruit. Well, you need to have fruits and vegetables, and you need to eat fruits earlier in the day around your workout, those kinds of things, because then your body will consume them. Other thing that I preach to a lot, and you guys know this too, is drink plenty of water. And this might just be a review. I take your body weight or my body weight times 0.75, and that's how many ounces you should consume of water, not coffee, tea, whatever. It's pure water. So if you have, like I have branched chain amino acids here, and it's in, I don't know how many, 16 ounces. That is water. It's flavored, but I actually drink more water than. You can have flavored waters that have already some stuff in it, or you can add like Crystal Light in there, but that's mainly water then. So, but coffee and tea are more diuretics. I mean, tea is good for you. A cup of coffee or 2 is having a little bit of that isn't bad for you either. But it's going to flush your system and get rid of some of the water, right? And so you want to drink. So if you have a cup of coffee, you've got to have water. Have a cup of tea, have water. Very important. Taking nutritional supplements. If you're finding that It's tough to get the protein in, or greens or things like that. There are supplements out there. Mine just came out, you guys all know, that will help. Your protein powder, vegan or whey, help supplement that. And you want to find a company that has ingredients that you can pronounce, because if you're eating something that you can't pronounce, it's probably not good for you. And I look for ingredients that are made in the United States, because if you get something from elsewhere, you don't know if that's really what it is. So if you go to GNC and you buy a protein powder and you're not, I mean, sometimes you want ingredients that are made here. You don't know where that, some of that stuff. And I'm not trying to diss GNC, because you get really good products there. Supplements designed for menopause. There really isn't anything designed. What I recommend for is the protein. And I also recommend a collagen too. So that's an option for you guys, is the collagen, and then like a protein supplement for sure. And I recommend a multivitamin. And a lot of us who live in the north, dark, snowy, cold places, vitamin D is super important. So have your vitamin D levels checked. You can take an oral vitamin D, or you can even have like an injection, like an IM monthly injection that's like 10,000 units. It really helps energy levels, and just the like, you just feel all in sometimes, because you can't be outside because it's too cold and it's dark at 4. And although today it was dark, it was light out a little after 5. I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. So, so those kinds of things will help some of the symptoms of the menopause. Another thing is, I have you guys weigh yourself weekly. Some of you weigh yourself daily, and I don't mind that you do that, as long as you know that it's going to be different every day depending on what you eat, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but use your clothes as a gauge, right? Focus on your health, not so much the weight. It's something that we do watch, but as you start to lose inches, that's what we want. We want you to feel good in your clothes. So that's more of the gauge than the scale. And I think some of you have felt that. So you get to a certain weight and you're not losing anymore, but yet you're still losing some inches. And that's where we want you to be. Of course, exercising, walking will boost your metabolism. Even if it's a couple times a week for 30 minutes, you don't have to walk 10 miles, right? Exercising, like you guys, doing the strength and conditioning is super important. Putting on lean muscle, burning off fat. We want to do weight bearing exercises, because that will help stop osteoporosis. So if you guys have like osteopenia, which is before osteoporosis would set in, you can reverse that, and your bone scans can go back the other way. I have a couple clients that have had that happen. Now, I forget what age it is that it's recommended that you have a bone scan. Is it 65 maybe? I can't remember. If Pat was here, she'd tell us.
I had one already.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've had one too, because I broke my foot and they wanted to make sure that I wasn't, I don't know why, but anyway. So yeah, so that's something that we want to, and two, with hormones, with your estrogen and your progesterone dropping off, that will lead to the osteoporosis. And if you have like a smaller frame, like bone structure, that's the same thing too. So emotional eating. So also, when I talk to you guys, a lot of you say you emotionally eat, which I think is pretty common for women, young women too. What I recommend is talking about that. Why are you emotionally eating? Trying to face, not necessarily your fears, but face what the reasons why you're doing. Is it boredom? Is it really emotional eating? Like if you're stressed, do you just go in and eat a bunch of stuff, or do you the opposite, where you're stressed and you don't eat at all? It can be both ways, and neither is good. So what are those reasons? You might be going through some personal stuff, and then maybe get some help, someone to talk to. Reach out to this group, reach out in Mind, Body, Beautiful. You can reach out to me, because if you can kind of figure out why that's happening, we can do some things to stop that. So like if it's a habitual thing, more than maybe emotional. Like for me at night, sometimes I'm tired and you want to eat something. It's that craving for those carbs. And so what I do is I'll just have, I'll grab a cup of hot tea, the chamomile, because it's before bed. And that's like replaces something that I'm putting in my mouth. So that might be something that might help you guys, or even putting a piece of gum in your mouth will help stop some of that. It's like you want to have something because you're so used to it. What else? Obviously reduce stress in your life, make time for fun and relaxing. It's that balance. And we've talked a lot about carving out that time for yourself, whether it's 3 times a week, 4 times a week, but that's your time. That's your sacred time. This is when I'm getting my workout in. This is when I'm meal prepping. This is when I'm doing that. And then make time for that fun and excitement in your life, because, we don't live under a rock at all. I want you guys to be out and socialize and do that, because that will help reduce the stress in your life. Stress, unfortunately, doesn't go away. It just changes. And so how do you manage that? So, and I think it's always a work in progress for all of us. It's not like, oh, I got balance in my life, I'm all good. It's knowing when to find that balance and when to maybe change your schedule and do something fun and do something for yourself too. But yeah, it's just knowing, and it's again, that self-talk that we've talked about too. And learn, and I talk about this as in your next chapter, it's exciting because you can make those changes, that you make those choices to do something different and be somebody different and be better. I'm always looking for ways to be better, even if it's 1% or 2% better, right? That's what I always say. But love yourself during this time and accept who you are and what stage of life that you're in, and find yourself. And you're all in a really good spot, because look at you're surrounded by all these wonderful, beautiful women that are on the same type of journey that you are. And this is a time in your life that you can grab and take control, because it's your time. I mean, this is a good time for you. So celebrate that. And, and menopause can be difficult and tough. I get it. I've been there, and I still have some stuff at night that I go through, but knowing that other women are going through that, but that you have choices to try different things to make it not so difficult. So like my mom's told me once when I was starting this process of menopause, she goes, I don't know what you're so worried about these hot flashes all the time. I had them for 17 years and I survived them. And I'm like, Mom, I love you, but I'm not going to live 17 years with having hot flashes. That's just not what I'm going to do. And I think knowing that you don't have to do that you can do something different. Right. And so when that generation, they just kind of live with it. Right. We just lived with it, and we're not going to, we know that we can do something different. So, and that with the right knowledge, some hard work, not always easy, that it can be done, because you guys are doing it. And we just need to be reminded of the fact that we can do it, and nothing can stop us. And we may need a little help and guidance, and that's okay. Sometimes you just can't do it by yourself. You need somebody to help. Oh, got some people that are, hopefully they haven't been there very long. So I just kind of wanted to but talk a little bit more about that. And my Mind Body Beautiful Facebook Live on Wednesday, we're going to talk about the brain, what happens to the brain during menopause. I'm sure you all, yeah, it'll be good, because I don't think men understand it. And if we can all understand what happens, we can explain it to them. Right? It's the brain. We can explain it to them. I don't know if they'll understand, but it does. It changes, right? You're like in a fog some days, or you put things where you shouldn't be putting them, and you tell yourself, well, I'm going to remember that, and you can't. And you're like, why did that happen? And a lot of it's the hormones. And then again, what can we do for our brains to help with that process? So,
my daughter just said, you go crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
True.
Pretty much. And that's what it feels like too. But it's just like, anytime you can understand why it's happening, it's a little bit like, oh, that's why that's happening. What can I do to help that? What can I do to make that, or help myself, or however you want to say it. And, that kind of leads to hormone replacement therapy too. And that's a good option for a lot of you. And you can definitely check that out. I do have, a company, if you will, that I work with that offers that service where you can get a consult for 30 minutes for free. They offer suggestions. You have some lab work done. It's really reasonable. It's like $97 for that. And you can go down that route. So like for me, progesterone at night before I go to bed has helped immensely with sleep and hot flashes. And there's really no side effects at all. The only side effect would be if you still have your period, sometimes it can make you a little bit more bloated, the progesterone. But for me, I'm postmenopausal as most of you. Yeah, it will help. So that's an option. And if you're interested in hearing more about that, you can certainly let me know. I can steer you in the right direction, but it's something that you can investigate and make that choice. It's not like you have to do it, but it can help, especially if you are miserable. Like I was totally miserable with them. I would be sitting in a meeting. I was still working as a clinic manager, and I would be having a difficult conversation with somebody, and I would just like be on fire, and you can't even focus on the conversation. So, but hopefully a little bit of that helps you understand kind of what maybe some of you are going through or have been through, and why things happen the way they do at this time in our life. And like I said, every woman goes through it, and it's just how you handle it. And you are all handling it very well. And not every day is easy, but you guys are reaching out when you need that. So, but I wanted to open it up for any questions, anything that you guys need from me or anything you need from the group here. This is a great group. I love having you all. So anybody have anything? Kathy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Are you?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yes.
So I'll cook up some chicken in my pressure cooker, Instapot, whatever you want to call it. And I'll cook it with salsa. How do you determine how much to add?
Oh, to add or to?
Well, I mean, as far as calories.
Honestly, if you're putting that in there and you're adding salsa, how much do you think you're even eating?
Of the salsa?
Yeah.
Just the flavor.
Yeah.
It sounds like I've taken scoops of it.
So I wouldn't sweat it. I wouldn't even count it, because honestly, salsa is more of a vegetable because I have the tomatoes, or I have the tomatoes in it and a few other things. You're not going to have a lot of calories or a lot of carbs with that. That's just like when you're like sauteing your vegetables in some olive oil. If you put a tablespoon in there, you're not really eating a tablespoon of olive oil when you're eating your green beans or whatever it is. So I find that it's less stressful to not worry about that.
Okay.
So don't sweat it. Now, if you're having like you're using it to dip the chicken in, you might want to just have that separate and then know that you have, a half a cup or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, so don't sweat that. But that's a great question. I get asked that a lot about how do you do that. Sometimes just estimation too. I mean, as long as you're aware of what you're eating, and you can put maybe like, oh, that's a tablespoon. Honestly, but if it's a tablespoon of salsa, I wouldn't get too worried about that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Cool. Gina, what do you got? Come on. I just love seeing you here.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to, I have gotten out of the groove. I mean, I kind of still was working out, and definitely I kept up my my meals and everything, but I haven't been recording like I should. And I'm back up to at least 3 days of workouts a week. But I'm trying not to, but I had been adding, like 7 machines for my legs because I just didn't feel like I was getting enough of a workout.
Okay.
And to see it there. But then I'm at the gym for 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
How effective is that?
not effective. So what that tells me is I need to give you a more difficult workout, or you can do
But the
that
one right
workout,
now-
but do it. How many days a week are you going to the gym? 3?
Yeah, the one I
So-
got right that you gave me right now is good.
Is it, you like it?
It
Okay.
really, I mean, it takes me a little bit longer than it should probably to do it just because of the difficulty.
Sure. Okay. What you could do instead of spending 4 hours at the gym, and this is what I would recommend, is you add another day. You do 4 days of workout instead of 3. And then
Mhm.
that's not so much, because what's happening is, especially if you're not eating enough for that, I want you to make sure you're getting enough fuel for your body and that your body's not hanging on to the fat.
Yeah, because I'm not really going anywhere with
Right.
my weight.
So what I'll do
fluctuate.
is I'm going to make a note. I'm going to make a note to, let me review your calories,
Okay.
and then I'll just add another day to your week. Are you doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I don't remember. What are you doing?
Well, I have been, but today my boys were home from school, so I'm going to do it tomorrow
Okay.
and Wednesday and Friday.
Okay. I'll just add a day in, and I know that you can fluctuate, as long as you get 4 in, and then
Okay.
just check them off. So I'll review your calories and then add a day. Are you feeling hungry?
A little bit,
Okay.
but at the same time, I feel full with my meals.
Okay.
I'm trying not to feel too full.
Right. Well, are you getting your calories in?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I want you to start logging. So let's do this. We'll add a day to your workouts. I want you to log. What is today? Monday, right? So log for a whole week, and then I'll go in next week and review and see how you're doing. And then we'll see if we need to add any additional calories. So
No. And for lunch, you were talking about the protein bars and stuff. And so I'll switch up the different brand, because initially I think you told me Quest.
Quest isn't too bad. I've learned a little bit more, and recommend the ones that I can put it in the comments here, and then you can in the chat, and then
You said RX and
yeah,
I
the
forgot
RX bar, and there's different flavors. These are the ones that a lot of dietitians recommend. I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't have a Quest. You're going to get a good protein in there, but I would just do the 1 a day then.
Right. I mean, I usually only do 1 a day unless I just miss another meal. Then I
Right.
might put.
Right.
But what about? I mean, because I do I've been doing the Quest, or either the pure protein or Premier protein
Okay.
of
Just the protein powder or the protein drink, right?
yes.
Okay.
Is
okay.
it okay to do those two together,
Yeah.
like for lunch?
I would do one time and one another time. If you're doing them together, what is that? That's probably 40 grams of protein. Not bad, but in one sitting, that might be too much.
Okay.
So I would spread those out that way. You're going to keep their blood sugar level longer throughout the day. So if you eat here and you eat here and you eat here and you eat here and you eat here, just an example, that blood sugar is going to maintain. If you eat here, but then you don't eat here, what happens is the blood sugar starts to drop, and then you eat.
Right.
And then it drops, and then you eat. So we want you to be like this throughout the day, because that'll stop you from craving and grabbing something you shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. Does that make sense for all of you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's eating even if it's 4 times a day, but it's to me, I go, okay, 3 meals and 2 snacks. And then if I want, I can have a protein shake or something at night. Something like that. So,
like a protein bar, a protein shake should be something more like for a snack.
yeah, not a meal.
Okay.
Normally, like if you're on an airplane, you're traveling in the car, you may need to do that, but it's better than not eating, or it's better have that than stopping at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So traveling is always a little bit, just gotta be a little sneaky around that and kind of get yourself through that. But when you're at home on a regular basis and you can meal prep and all that, I wouldn't have more than that. If you want to do so I used to teach, I teach this in my boot camp. So it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then snack, which I do with you guys, but this is just protein, like a protein drink, just to get them acclimated to eating a little bit differently. Because a lot of times, you know, especially here in the Midwest, we don't, you know, we just eat really bad. So that's something that you could do, you know, just to get you some calories into.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I eat less calories per meal, and then so I can
Eat a little bit more. Mhm.
Yeah.
Eat more meals and less. Yeah, don't eat. You don't want like eating this great big huge meal and then not eating for a while. It's just your blood sugar, like I said, tanks. And then when you eat, it goes back up, and you're getting this effect.
Yeah.
You want you to be like this, because when your blood sugar drops, what do? You grab something really quick to eat. And what's really quick to eat? All the junk.
Andy.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Candy,
I mean,
junk.
protein. I always keep on hand protein
Good.
bars, protein shakes.
Yeah, so that's what I recommend. Yeah. Cool. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So log your food, Miss Gina,
Okay.
and then I'll add a day to your workouts, and then I will check next Monday on how you did, and if we need to do something with your calories, I'll look at that.
Okay.
All right, so that would be December, yeah. January 24th. I don't want to go back that way. Let's not go backwards. All right, let's see. Hillary, you've got anything for me today?
Nope, I'm doing great. Thank
Oh, love it. Good.
you.
Good. How about Karen?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Just pretty
Doing
good.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm doing good.
Good. All right.
I do need to schedule another time with you though.
Okay.
You missed it before, so
Yes, let's do that. I'll reach out.
no problem.
All right. All right, Heidi, how about you?
I'm
There you
doing
are.
good.
All
There I am.
right, awesome.
I'm good.
You're looking good. How are those horses?
Well, that's also helping me because I'm so busy now with the new ones that I can't turn around. So
It's like having toddlers.
seriously, yeah, but it's good. And then
Okay.
I learned a very valuable lesson last week because I got off my meal prep, routine. And so I did it, and I did a bunch of just fish and chicken and things. And I met my protein. I'm close, but I never really meet all the numbers I'm supposed to. But that week I had like 3 or 4 days where I was on my protein number every single day because I had it right there. So
Perfect.
I
Yep.
need to get that back in my routine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what? You have it in your routine, and then something happens and you get out, and then you got to go back in. It happens to me too. Excuse me, I'm going to be traveling this week, starting on Wednesday. So I didn't do a lot of meal prep because I didn't want the food sitting here, but so that's like, so yeah, we have that happen, but don't beat yourself up. As long as you know, like, yep, got to get back into it. That's the important part.
Yeah.
So,
But otherwise I feel good.
good. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. How about Miss Pat? How you doing there? Look at you.
Good.
Look at you. You look beautiful today.
Oh, yeah, really? Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm being, yes.
Ooh.
You're supposed to say thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Diane.
You do. You look really,
Um,
really adorable.
I want to talk about legumes,
Oh,
beans. So I was all excited today. I was going to make this something with, what the hell is the legume I'm talking about? That's so good. Oh my God, I lost my mind. Anyway, I was all set to make this, what is that little tiny one? It's out in the kitchen. I had to wash it and make
Oh, I
sure
know
there
what you're
was
talking
Is it a
no-
lentil?
lentil.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, lentils.
Thank you, Heidi.
So then I started plugging in my numbers, right? like you can only eat a quarter cup of those lentils. They have so many carbs in them. And you know how I like on my workout days, I always do oatmeal in the morning and egg whites today I found that an hour before my workout, my God, I had so much energy today. It was ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
Wait till you see my Fitbit.
Ah, I'm going to check it right after we're done.
I got
So what-
three different workouts in there. So anyway, I plugged it all in, and then I said, well, what about these legumes? I was going to make this nice dish for tonight. And then I saw a quarter of a cup was like, I don't know, 20, 30 something grams of carbs, whatever the heck it was, which would have just pushed me right over the edge.
Right.
So I didn't make them. I guess that's something I'll have to eat on a day that I'm not doing my oatmeal and my, other stuff that I like. So,
So was that cooked
I
or
was really surprised.
Yeah, you cooked them, right? That was a cooked 1/4 cup.
Well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I knew I
Right.
wasn't eating it today.
Okay.
And I had this idea though, because I want to do some soup, because I know you guys think I'm crazy, but 50 is cold here. And
Yeah, you are crazy.
I even heated up my yogurt and cottage cheese today.
Oh, how does that taste?
It was delicious.
Okay.
It was delicious. With cinnamon and nutmeg. It was just so good.
Oh, now that, I bet that would be.
Yeah,
good.
I
Oh my
do that a
God.
lot. Cinnamon, nutmeg. Anyway, I have to revisit my legumes because I went back to your first thing that you sent us.
Mm-hmm.
This thing that you sent us.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I came upon the passage after I had the legumes already that you're not a fan of legumes and beans.
Oh, I think they have really good fiber, very good fiber. I wouldn't say I'm not a fan because I eat them myself, but they can cause some gastric upset a lot of times. But you also need the fiber, and I love lentils because they have some protein in it too. That's probably the only legume that has that much protein in it.
So that just means when I get up off the chair, I'll fart 3 times instead of once.
It's not that I'm not a fan. I personally don't eat a lot of them because of that issue, but
Yeah,
the
they
lentils,
bloat you, I think.
yes. And that's
Okay,
kind of, it happens to a lot of people. It's not that you shouldn't have them. I think they're good for you. Now, if you're a vegetarian, that's what they eat, right?
Yeah.
To get their protein, but then they have to watch their carb count. And a lot of times vegetarians, it's difficult for them to get their protein in. So that's why they eat a lot of lentils because of that.
Okay.
So.
All right, so it was good to go back to this thing here because
Yep.
I found, I never made a single recipe that's in there, largely because I don't like modified desserts. That's not going to float my boat. And there's a lot of other things I don't eat. But I did just 2 things I'm going to make because you know how I love chili.
Yes.
And it has the beans. So I'm going to make your chili with the sweet potato. I have that one. And I'm going to make
You're
your,
gonna like that.
which really sounds good, is the
dog?
cauliflower, the cauliflower chicken thing.
Oh yeah, you're gonna like that too.
Right.
Some
But
good
like
stuff in
Italian
there.
green beans. Yeah. So
Good.
I'm trying to do something a little different
Right.
because I just heard Heidi say about the meal prep.
Yeah. Over here.
I do that with the chicken, but I have to do it with the vegetables. That's my goal this week. I am going to steam up a whole bunch of vegetables that I know I'll eat
Good.
and try to have them on hand because that's what I'm not doing. I'm missing the vegetables, but I
Yeah.
want them hot. I
Yeah.
don't want a salad now. It's too cold.
I hear you. Yeah, having that's a good way to have things. You can just scoop it in a bowl and have all that stuff. Yes. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I can throw salsa on anything and
Yes.
eat it. So
Yes. Good.
just a tablespoon.
Good for you. Hey, Jody, anything?
I was just wondering if it's possible to Between my workout lately, it's pushing an hour for the workout, and I still have supposed to do 30 minutes of cardio for my cardiologist. So that's an hour and a half at a pop.
Okay.
Is it possible to split up my workouts into
Yeah.
like 2 ones?
Yeah.
Because I think you'll see that I will do them more consistently, because I've been kind of slacking, because that's a lot after working.
They went and bought.
Yeah. Okay. I would, yeah. And this is good for all of you too. If you find that the workout is taking a little longer, and let's say it says 3 rounds, if for time issue, and I get it because it happens to me too, go down to 2 rounds or decrease your reps a little bit. But then if you're going to decrease your reps, maybe go a little heavier, not like gonzo heavier, but go a little heavier. That's a good way to do it, because you're getting a workout in, but you're doing it, in 45 minutes versus an hour, or 30 minutes versus an hour. That's absolutely okay. I want it to fit into your lifestyle. And so I want you to also have the flexibility to be able to do that. Work hard, keep working hard, and I can see what you're doing because you're recording it all, but go ahead and then on a day, like, let's say you want to do Saturday or something and you have time, then do the full one, that kind of a thing. So, and it's actually good for your body to do that once in a while. Let's just change it up too.
Well, and just so you know, the massage therapist said that, yes, that I'm getting bigger glutes. So
You're getting it out.
I'm getting happy. So ain't quit now.
Yeah, funny. I love it. Well, that's good. How was your massage? I bet it was nice, huh?
Amazing. She is so good. She's just so
Perfect.
and she actually has competed. So
She has what?
she's competed.
Oh, so she gets that part. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. I'm surrounding myself with all the right people.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes.
Working out that way. So it's great.
Yeah, you guys that's what you do, right? You want to surround yourself with like-minded people, positive people that are in your corner, not trying to sabotage you. You do and sometimes your family might try and sabotage you. You just have to kind of put the boundaries. Just say,
Well, my boyfriend was following me around the gym today, watching every exercise, and he goes, I don't like that exercise. Here, let me show you something else. I was like, oh, God.
Is he a younger man?
He is.
Oh, there you go.
But there's no way that, no. He's just very physically fit.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for years. And I told him, you should be a trainer. I said, for crying out loud. I mean,
yeah.
He's built like, forget it, for a little tiny man.
Yeah. And you know what?
I keep looking at him and I say, if he can get those muscles, I better be able to get those muscles.
That's right. And you are. And you know why? You know why
yeah.
he's hanging around you though? He's hanging around you because you have a sense of humor. You're fun, right?
Yeah.
But you also have something in common.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. But
So,
he's very interested in what I'm trying to achieve because he saw me before. So he's like, he can't believe that. And at least 3 people came up to me today. One lady asked me if, she said, you got so thin. Are you all right?
Oh, no.
I said, yeah, come on over here. Let me show you what I can do. And so I stepped up. I stepped up on the weight bench with one leg and she went, oh my God. I said, you see?
You get him, Pat.
That's right.
I love it. That's kudos to you. And so, when we talk about hanging around positive, like-minded, like they get it, that's awesome. So you're getting a lot of attention by taking care of yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, and one lady today, another lady, she said, oh, I really can't believe it. And then, she wanted to know all about my diet. I said, I'm not on a diet. No diet.
Right.
She says, did you do keto? I said, oh God, no, never. So I keep talking about you in that gym,
Right.
So maybe, who knows?
Yeah, right.
Maybe you'll get a client, another old person.
Oh, I love all of you guys, and you're not old. Not
Well,
at all.
I think I'm your oldest. I think so.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Pat, my
Yes.
daughter said you're only as old as the men you feel.
Only as old as what?
The men you
Well, then I'm pretty old because I only got one old dude here.
But you got
He's
that.
75. And I'm not going after any other dudes or ladies.
One's enough,
Done.
right?
Yeah, after 51 years,
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, we were babies.
Yeah, isn't that something? Oh my goodness.
I know. It's
Congrats.
shocking.
Yeah, that not many people can say that. That's pretty awesome.
Well, Jody, Jody's ready to go out and get somebody. So.
Yeah.
She's on, yeah, she's on the hunt.
might hurt him now.
Yeah, you could hurt him now, right?
Oh yeah. Cool. Well, it's because you're feeling good about yourself, right? And it's confidence and all of that. And that's what we want. We want to be confident.
I bought a size petite sweater
Ooh,
today.
wow.
A small.
Wow.
For you.
That's
Isn't
awesome.
that amazing?
That is.
Well,
truly
no more no more boobs.
What a padded bras for?
Oh, that's what I have several. I love them.
Yeah, all right. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Cool, ladies. All right, I'm going to let you all go, and I want you to have a great rest of your Monday. And yeah, let me know if you need anything, any questions on what we talked about earlier. Okay.
Will do.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Thanks.